Hey y'all, it's me. I'm going to turn this around. Actually, I'm just going to turn this button around real quickly. Hot and sweaty I am. Back around real quick, that's scary. Alright, I am out here in my garden. This has become my favorite time to be in the garden late in the evening because it's just beautiful and cool. These sunflowers are called Pro Cut, and I wanted to tell you all about them. If you like sunflowers for your home, you know, if you've ever grown sunflowers and brought them inside, most of the time they're heavy pollinators and they drop pollen everywhere on the counter or the table or wherever you have them. These are a type of sunflower called Pro Cut, and I buy them from Lisa Ziegler from the Gardener's Workshop. And you can see I have planted them close together, so compared to my hand, they're fairly small, but they'll grow according to the space you give them. I've only given them about a foot of space. Yeah, it's weedy down there. But that's because I wanted them smaller. Now Lisa actually grows hers about 6 inches apart, and that gives her one that's as small as like a zinnia. And personally, I think I would want a sunflower to be a little bit bigger than a zinnia, but in the bouquets that she sells, I'm certain, you know, there's a market for that. You can see over there in that little box, I've got those hanging throughout the garden, and up in Hugh's beans, those are lacewing. Those are lacewing bugs that we are trying to release here in the garden. Next week I have some ladybugs coming, and Corey and Aaron went after some traps that we found we need to keep further away from the garden than we did originally, but for Japanese beetles. And they just needed to call some of those Japanese beetles in, but not into the garden. So you can see the tomatoes are doing nicely. They're full of blooms, and I've got to come down this week and tie them back up because they've outgrown their little ties that I had on them last week. And as they're getting to the top, and some of them have already reached the top of the stake, you can see how close they are, and some of them are already up there. I will actually cut them at that point. See, some of them are right now at the top of their little stake, and I will top them there so that they won't continue growing upward. I want them just to spend all their time and their energy putting all their energy into their fruit. Let me see if I can find them. I saw some tomatoes one day earlier this week. All right, where are you? There's one. There's some over here. Tomatoes. But that's always exciting. See, this one's already outgrown its little pole. So I will, when I clean these up this week, I will top that one right about right there, and it will not get any higher. There's some more tomatoes, and you can see how they're leaning over. They're getting heavy and they need to be pulled up and tied. Yeah, that will be tomorrow evening's job. Here's some more little tomatoes. Well, no, that one doesn't have one in it yet. They're getting there though. Yay! It's an exciting time. See, there's some more of the lacewing traps. But I saw a lot of movement in there, and they have to be planted where it's let's break these suckers out. That's bugging me. They have to be planted, you know, where they're not in full sun. It's just so hot right now. I hope that they weren't damaged at all. But We shall see. There's a ginormous sucker. Yeah, and I'm not even going to fool with him. I got to bring my shears down here to cut those guys out. Now that's going to bug me because I've weakened it. There. All right. But they are actually a little bit wilted looking today. There comes Mr. Hugh Bass. Say, hey, honey. He always comes and checks on me in the garden in the evening. He's been outside in the heat all day. I don't know how he stands it, but he does. He stays out in the heat.
We had what?
I said, you've been out in the heat all day.
That's what I do.
He's been working with Aiden on the Jeep. I gotta adjust something. He's been working with Aiden on the Jeep, and he and Aaron put in the porch corners for Aaron and Corey's porch. And we've just got...
That looks like that might be a squash plant.
Well, it's a squash or something. I didn't label anything when I put them out. These down here are pretty much the only things I'm certain of. And they should be watermelons, right?
Yes. 1, 2, 3. I say 4
watermelons.
plants.
Yeah. And as they grow, I'm just going to run the runners down that direction. Give them plenty of room. The rest of the tomatoes and the peppers that I have growing.
Our tomato sticks ain't high enough.
Yeah, they'll be fine. I've got to come out and tie them up tomorrow. They are wilting over.
When they decided to grow, they grew, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. It had to just get good and warm for them. We've had some cold days here this spring, and it just kind of put everything back. Yeah, the okra. You can see the okra is finally doing its thing.
If I'd cut me a fresh head of cabbage.
I've got my little cutting tool up there somewhere, laying up there with the spade. You can cut it with that. Hugh was standing over there beside the dill earlier, and it's every bit as tall as he is, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I think that'll cut. But anyway, the okra are looking good. We have some straw flowers coming on. See how pretty they are? Pretty little babies. All different colors. And of course, the snaps have been beautiful. And these little sweet alyssum need to be weeded. They're saying, why are you letting us get so weedy? It's not okay. But mostly I have some beds now that need to be finished off and for my new stuff to go. But I'm thinking that I may put the new tomatoes and peppers up beyond where Hugh has his corn and beans and potatoes, because the ground up there is so much softer, so very much softer. But let me show you the celery. You know, we've talked about the celery a couple of times, and they need weeded. But look, there's actually some little celeries in there. Well, if I can get down to it. See? Those little celeries. That makes me happy. I've never really had success growing celery. So, that's just fun. Look at the thorns on that puppy. You grab those with a bare glove or with a bare hand, that hurts. Okay. The onions have done really well this year. There's some huge ones. Huey has been pulling them and eating them. And we're trying to wait on some of them. Let me show you this in proportion to my hand. You can see it. Thing's pretty big. But they're supposed to be a sweet onion. They've got a little bit of a bite to them. And since we planted these from seed onion, we're going to save the seed to plant with again next year. And then down here, I have the Walla Wallas that several of y'all had. I grew these from seed, and they're not super sweet either, but they're a good onion. They're a good tasting onion. Yeah, everything got really in front of me, girls, when I was down with my leg. But it just happens sometimes. You have to go with what you're handed. The last of my lettuce all bolted, so it's done. But I need to keep track of what's going on up here in these runners. There's blooms in there, but I haven't seen anything develop. There's another one of those little lacewing traps. Haven't seen anything developing in there yet, but there's lots and lots and lots of blooms developing. He was just getting anxious for some zucchini and some yellow squash. And I don't know which one of these plants, they're so similar looking. I won't know what is what until they actually start giving us some fruit. But they will. They will soon. But Aaron's been working on the compost today, and these little gardens are full of weeds. I set them so close together that I'm just going to have to get in here and just pull the weeds out of these, but that'll be all right. It won't take that long. But these are flowers. I don't remember what kind, you know. You know that. And then this is a flower. We'll identify them if any of y'all know by the leaves, you can tell me. But otherwise, we'll identify them when they start giving us something to look at. And these are celosia. I've got lots of little celosia coming on. I started cleaning these out this evening. But you can see they're actually beginning to put out their little blooms. And they're just, if you have never seen a celosia, you guys are going to find these interesting. I had never grown them until about 3 years ago. And they're a fascinating little plant. They're fuzzy. And then these here in the middle, I don't remember what they are. But then here's some more celosia. And then this is just some empty space. I need to brush all that aside, and I've got some lavender I need to set out. I guess it can go in that little bed right there. And there's a nasturtium. And down here, I think they're supposed to be zinnias, but they look really sad, don't they? That one just got eaten up. Yep, there's the culprit. And then this one, the leaves have gotten eaten up. The rest of them, they've got lots of blooms in them, if the blooms get to make it. But they're not really high enough for cut flowers, except for a very short little vase. That'll be all right. And here's some cosmos. And they're beginning to bloom, but they're really short too. So everything's kind of stunted in this little garden down here. Ouch. That's that one I told you to watch out for and not pull because of those thorns. Look at that. Nasty little thorns. But anyway, that's what's going on in the garden. Hopefully, if it doesn't pour the rain and make it just soaking wet, I'll be able to finish getting it cleaned out in the next night or two. And I've got to get some things inside set out. I've got them acclimating. So this evening I've got to get them watered. But anyway, for as poor as the soil is down here, I guess I'm satisfied with it. It could have been a lot worse. Could have been a lot better, but There you go. And see this little tray of lavenders. They desperately need to go in the ground. They've been in these little blocks way too long, but they're still alive. So I'm going to give them a chance to live. And there's another little thing of lettuce that has bolted on me. There's some peppers. My peppers all are kind of really stunted, but then there again, I think it's because of the really cold weather. And the cabbages have done really well. I have a few more peppers down here, but not many. Aaron was cleaning the weeds out of the pathways for me the other day, and he didn't realize that I had 2 rows, that row, and then a row over there. So some of them got lost in the weeds, literally, but that's okay. I appreciated him cutting the weeds out of my little weedy patch. But now it is nice to see that we have some. Let me get rid of that guy. It's hard to do that one-handed, girls. I'm not very. There we go. We do have some little flowers on these peppers, so they're going to give us some peppers. Lots of little flowers down in there. Yay. But I have a tray of bells and a mixed tray of not sriracha, what are they called? My mind went blank. Jalapenos and serranos. Because Chelsea is panicking because the sriracha sauce has gotten so expensive. I guess there's been a run on sriracha sauce, and the pepper that you make the sriracha out of is in high demand this year. So I'm growing some jalapenos and serranos. Apparently those are the 2 peppers that you make sriracha sauce out of. And Chelsea and I are going to try our hand at making sriracha sauce. So I could work down here for another hour. I still have another hour of daylight. But I think I'm going to call it an evening. It's been a long day. But I do love working down here at this time of the evening. It's usually quiet unless the dogs are outside. And there's just something special. Just something so special about evening time. I don't know. What do y'all think? What do you do in your evenings? If I don't come to the garden, I sit in the living room and I either watch television. Hugh and I watch MASH. We love MASH. There's 2 back-to-back MASH episodes that come on at 7 o'clock every evening, and we watch that. And then I just kind of poke around on social media, and sometimes I just feel like that's not necessarily a healthy thing to do before bed. You guys have to see the hollyhocks. All right, come over here and look at these pretty guys. Are they just not beautiful? Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And they're so full of blooms coming on. They're just about to bloom themselves out. These over here are really, really pink. And there's my little mountain mint. That one up there is struggling a little bit. I've got to get them moved. And that one down there is so shaded, I'm surprised that it's even survived. I've talked about moving that mountain mint for months, and I forget. I just totally forget. That's sad. But anyway, the iodine is helping. I'm convinced the iodine is helping my memory to return somewhat. Look at Corey and Aaron's little orange roses. Aren't they pretty? Such a beautiful color. And I think these things are crazy cool. It's borage or barrage, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but they're supposed to be wonderful for calling in pollinators. I need to, and if they're, especially if they're a perennial, I want to plant them down the fence row over there. And my mind went blank on these too. I have some of these in the garden, but mine are a little short and squatty, and hers got nice and tall, so that's good. I can't wait to see them bloom. But everything in her little garden up here looks wonderful. And these little hollyhocks, I need to get them out. One of them's black, and I forgot about those also. Oh, dear girls. One of these days my memory will totally return. I'm convinced of it. I'm just going to hold on to that thought and say, yes, it shall be so. All right. Well, I'm going to sit down here on this little chair for a moment. And I'll just turn your... There we go. I remember to look at the right spot. But anyway, things are going well here. We just have a lot going on right now. And I shared with you about the Iodine book that I'm reading. It's really phenomenal. And I hope many of you will take advantage of reading that and just making some decisions for yourself about them. It's something that we're all really, really lacking in. And it's becoming more and more known in the science and medical community how much damage has been caused to our health by the just not enough iodine in our system. So take the time to read about it and see if you can make a decision for yourself whether that's something that can help improve your health. And I think that it is ours. Chelsea has a condition called, she's also always had autoimmune issues, gluten intolerance and different things of that nature, but she was recently put on thyroid medication. And I've been on thyroid medication since I was 20. So I've had hypothyroidism for over 40 years now, 43 years. But I think that a lot of my issues could have been resolved with adequate amounts of iodine with what I'm reading. But Chelsea, her thyroid has bounced around up. She's been hypothyroid, hyperthyroid, back and forth. And now today, for the first time, I read in this book that I showed y'all yesterday, this Dr. Brownstein book on iodine, that there's something called, my mind just went blank, but it is a thyroid condition that's specifically autoimmune thyroid, not disease, but something similar to that word. And in reading how to fix it, it's basically just the supplements of iodine and the B vitamins and selenium, a couple other things, but things that are easily accessible. And she has suffered with a lot of aches and pains, a lot of different brain fog and different things that could have been cleared up if she had been diagnosed early on. But anyway, we're going to take care of it now. I'm not going to let her say, no, Mom, I don't think I want to take that. I'm going to say, oh, yes, Chelsea, you've got to take that for your mama's sake. But anyway, I just wanted to share that little blip again with the iodine because I really think I just want to encourage all of you to consider it, to give it some, just really spend some time researching it for yourself. I don't want anybody just to do it because, this crazy old lady says to do it, but I want you to really give it some good research and just see if there's something in there that might benefit you, because the iodine deficiency is a very, very real thing, not only in our country, but pretty much worldwide. But anyway, just one more blip on the iodine thing. All right, girls, I love you. I hope you're having a beautiful, beautiful evening. I've got my shoes off, and I'm sitting here with my feet on the ground. Of course, I've had on my leather, I call them my gardening moccasins now, but I've had those on for the last couple of hours, and so I just enjoy my earthing time. And I just wanted to touch base real quick. I didn't really have anything new to say or share. I just wanted to say hi and show you what's going on in the garden. And I'll see you later this week. Oh, and Erin said that the little shorts were really easy to do, really easy to make. You just have to keep them like under a minute. So when I think about it through the day, I think I will just start doing a little short and saying hi, and just, I hear a chicken. We've got a chicken out. That chicken's not supposed to be on this side. She's supposed to be over there in her lot. I'll have to get some scratch and take her home. But anyway, so I love you, and I will start shooting some shorts out there just to say hi during the day. All right, take care. Bye-bye.